So have you ever wondered who the real-life heroes are when, a new virus pops up? Or who's the one figuring out why an illness is hitting one neighborhood way harder than another? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the world of epidemiology. We're going to give you the exact roadmap to becoming one of these public health detectives. So let's start right there. Who exactly are these detectives on the front lines of public health? The ones who are out there tracking down the source of an outbreak or uncovering the hidden patterns behind a chronic illness. That's right, they're called epidemiologists. And you should really think of them as investigators, but instead of solving crimes, they're solving public health mysteries. They do it by studying the patterns and, the root causes of disease and injury. So our investigation today is going to follow a really clear path. First, we'll go undercover to see what these public health detectives really do. Then we'll check out their typical workplaces and the skills they need to crack the case. After that, we'll lay out the complete roadmap to joining their ranks. And to wrap it all up, we'll go on a little field mission to see exactly how they gather the crucial evidence that literally saves lives. Okay, let's kick off our investigation. What does a day in the life of a public health detective actually look like? Well, they're the ones connecting the dots, figuring out how a disease spreads, who's most at risk, and, most importantly, how to stop it. It's work that is absolutely vital for all of us. So now that we have a feel for what they do, let's explore where they do it. And you might be surprised by the huge range of places where epidemiologists actually put their skills to work. You might find yourself in a state or local health department, or maybe at a university doing some cutting-edge research, or even in a hospital setting. But it's not all office work, not by a long shot. A lot of epidemiologists work directly in the field or in clinical settings, right where the action is.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just a fascinating career we're talking about. It's a rapidly growing one. The demand for these public health detectives is, frankly, skyrocketing, and the future of this field is looking incredibly bright.
How bright are we talking? Get this. The projected job growth for epidemiologists between 2024 and 2034 is a whopping 16%. I mean, that's a huge indicator of just how vital this role is becoming in our modern world.
And just like a detective might specialize in a certain type of case, you can specialize your work too. You could focus on chronic diseases like diabetes, or maybe protecting mothers and children. You could be on the front lines fighting infectious diseases, investigating environmental health risks, or working in public health preparedness and emergency response. So many options.
Okay, so you're intrigued. The idea of becoming a public health detective sounds pretty cool, right? So what's next? Well, it's time to build your toolkit. Let's take a look at the essential skills and the education you're going to need to really succeed in this field. So, what does it actually take? It's really a unique blend of scientific know-how and some very practical, hands-on skills. Yeah, to be a really effective public health detective, you need this specific blend of skills. You've got to be a master communicator, right? Able to explain really complex findings to the public and to policymakers. You'll need those sharp critical thinking skills of a true detective to spot patterns that everybody else misses. And, of course, you absolutely need a strong foundation in math and statistics to make sense of all the data you'll be swimming in. And this really shows you the level of expertise we're talking about. The typical entry-level education for an epidemiologist isn't a bachelor's degree, it's a master's degree. Often, it's a Master of Public Health, or an MPH. All right, so this brings us to the core of our explainer today, the roadmap itself. Let's break down the clear, actionable steps you can take to get there. Okay, so your journey kicks off with a solid foundation, a bachelor's degree. From there, you want to get some real-world experience, get your boots on the ground in a public health setting to see how it all really works. Next up, you'll take your expertise to a whole new level with a master's program, and that's where you can choose a specialization that you're truly passionate about. And finally, if you want, you can pursue some optional certifications to become a true expert in your chosen area. Okay, so to really understand this job, let's go on a quick field mission. A huge part of this work is collecting critical data, but how do they actually do it? So, the very first step is deciding what kind of evidence you even need. Are you looking for quantitative data, the hard numbers, the stuff you can measure? Or are you looking for qualitative data, the descriptions, the stories, the things you can observe but can't really put a number on? Okay, imagine this. You're investigating a mysterious illness in a small town. Your first step is to define your mission. What are you actually trying to find out? Are you looking for numbers or the stories behind the illness?
Once you've got your mission, you'll choose your tools, maybe a survey, or interviews, or just direct observation. Then, you'll map out a detailed plan of action, and finally, you head into the field and gather the evidence you need to solve the case.
And here's the crucial point, really. It's not just about numbers and charts. Every single piece of data you collect tells one part of a much larger story, a story about the health and the well-being of an entire community.
And that leaves us with just one final thought. If you were one of these public health detectives, armed with all these skills and this roadmap, what mystery, what problem affecting your community would you want to solve first?